Hello, 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 everybody. It is Johnny here with your weekly portion of Disco Elysium. Your little dollop of sadness and whimsy, perhaps. Can you see and hear me? Not getting any. Let me double check I have actually gone live. Yes, I'm live. Good. Sorry. Oh, Twitch was being a problem. Not to worry, not to worry. Hello everyone. It is I, your friend and mine, Johnny. And once again we return to Elysium. Elysium. Site of this most mournful of discos. As always at the top, I will say check the content warnings, because this is a game that can be quite confrontational, quite spiky, and does at various points deal with some pretty thorny issues in ways that I think sometimes work, sometimes don't. Like, I have a lot of respect for the big swings they take. I don't think they always come off, and it is worth being aware of what might be coming. Specifically, in this particular playthrough, there is a strong chance that we are going to be encountering Measurehead and the racist lorry driver. That's not my description, that is his character's name. So yes, there is every chance we'll be meeting Measurehead and the racist lorry driver. But let us get into this game. I believe, just trying to remember exactly which one my last, I think, yeah, actually it was this one. Oh, incidentally, I noticed some people at the end of last stream saying like, oh, where did Harry get this blue coat? He picked it up from a bin. There was a bin near Joyce Messina's boat. And he opened it, and inside was this rather fetching naval coat, but which is quite nice because it increases his suggestion. But you know what? I think I might go back to the old disco ass blazer, because you know. And we had just encountered Kuno's dad, which was pretty sad. It's a pretty messed up situation. We picked up a minute amount of amphetamine, which Kim did not care about, because Kim doesn't care about a tiny fucking little bit of amphetamine. And I also stole his trousers, because they are good, normal, regular black jeans. Normal day for a normal guy. And I will say, somebody said, laid back trash bin raccoon meets a cool professor vibe. The one of you who said that also describes me. Yeah, okay. I'll take that. Oh, shh, April. Ooh, there is 1 cent in this man's shoes, and I will take it.
This door has been closed with a padlock. A chalk-drawn number on the board says, number 11.
Knock.
No reply.
Knock.
No reply. No reply.
Examine the paddle.
It's a solid lump of metal, but the shackle is deeply corroded. A solid pair of chain cutters would make short work of it.
Time for a little snip snip.
You seem committed to it, so go on.
What are you
What?
doing? You're trying to cut the body of the lock with the chain cutters, and it's really not working.
I believe it's the shackle you mean to cut, Detective.
He's just trying to help. Don't take it bad. Relax.
These chain cutters are broken, Kim.
Perhaps you should give it another go.
The shackle snaps like a twig, and the lock falls to the floor with a little thud. It should be possible to enter now.
After you, Detective.
What interests me there is generally Kim calls you officer when he disapproves of your actions and detective when he approves. So Kim in this case implicitly approves of me just breaking into someone's flat. But it's important that we check everywhere in these apartments. They're all adjacent to the murder. Any one of them could have something important in. A flamboyant poster of a white star. Real lithography.
A plaster cast bust depicts a middle-aged man with impressive sideburns. The name on the plinth reads Kras Mazov. Honestly, he does kind of look like you after all.
Kim, you have to admit, this Kras Mazov bears a striking resemblance to me.
Hold on a second. Is this why you broke in here? To find out whether you're Kras Mazov?
I have to consider and investigate all possibilities.
Except that Kras Mazov is dead. He's been dead for 50 years now.
Just humour me for a moment. Don't you see the resemblance?
Well, you both do seem to share an affinity for sideburns, but it seems like old Kras here didn't drink nearly as much as you.
Maybe this bust shows him before he started drinking.
Very well. Let's look for identifying features then. Doesn't he have a birthmark right here? What about you?
I can't tell. I can't see my face.
Alright, but here's the big thing. Kras Mazov looks Samaran, and you don't.
You're right. That's something we definitely don't have in common.
Good, so you're not him.
I might not look like him, but I know it in my heart. Kras Mazov, that's me.
Okay, you win. Be Kras Mazov then. I don't care. Why are you so hell-bent on proving that you're Kras Mazov anyway?
I'm not sure. It's just a feeling I have, but I trust my feelings.
Alright, Kras, if you say so.
Why does this tenant have a bust of Kras Mazov in their bedroom?
The white star, the photos on the wall. I think we have broken into the apartment of a young communard. How fitting.
Probably not internalizing this thought just now. There's something you can't get out of your head. Kras Mazov, the father of scientific communism, the premier of the Communist Party of Shestongrad during the Anticennial Revolution, head of the 11-day government, sideburn-toting, bearded figurehead of the movement, shot himself in the mouth and died. One day in his cabinet, as things were collapsing around him, just gave up. That's not good propaganda, is it? Be a communist. Shoot yourself in the mouth. Something about this irks you. Photos of revolutionaries posing with guns. Revolutionaries love to pose with their guns. Books of critical theory on the monstrosities of capital and such. Ooh, a 9mm bullet. And a Saramarizian lounge jacket. A classic white summer jacket, loved both by the Saramarizian Communist Party, and the accompanying subtropical drug traffickers. It fits you well, regardless of your political ambitions. +1 conceptualization, summer plans. Yeah. Looking pretty good. Yeah, I'm still gonna wear my walking around jacket.
You hear someone walking around inside, rearranging the furniture. The number on the panel says 10.
Knock.
The walking stops abruptly, but no one comes to the door. You can feel tension on the other side.
Knock again.
A poor communard, from the looks of it. The room is barely bigger than a closet.
Oh. This is the police. Open up.
Do I have to open the door? Do you have a warrant? I'm not obligated to open the door if you don't have a warrant.
Let's go. We don't have a reason to get inside that apartment.
It's generally easier to do things if you have literally any reason.
The door number 9 is locked. Apartment number 8. Their mailbox is overflowing. A graffito says, "A firing squad for the rich."
Give me a moment. The car. I'm fine. Fine. Don't you worry about me.
You're still worried. It's very worrying.
Now, what do you want from me, policeman?
She's the cleaning lady. She knows the floor plan and the residence.
Who are you?
I'm no one. Just an old woman who cleans these hallways.
Do you live here?
If you can call it living. I have a little room upstairs right next to the coal room. It's barely bigger than a closet, but I don't complain, no. I have my bed and my aching bones to keep me company, and that's all I need from this world.
I'm looking for Martin Martinez.
Oh, you'll find plenty of Martins here. Don't you worry.
No, you don't understand. I'm looking for a real person named Martin Martinez. He told me he's Martin Martinez.
Pea-brain. Someone played a trick on you. Martin Martinez is a name for anyone who comes from Martinez, like Jim Jamrock or Raoul Ravachol.
Oops, you really didn't get the joke there.
I thought it was obvious. Anyway, officer, we don't have the witness's name.
How about a young male in his mid-20s, dark hair, skinny build, a smoker on the balcony? Know where he lives?
Yes, I know who you mean. The scrawny boy who's always smoking like the devil, right?
Somewhere in the building, a child starts crying. You hear a radio tuned to a talk show and someone taking a shower.
What's he in trouble for?
No trouble. I just want to talk to him. Do you know where he lives?
Talk? He lives upstairs in room 28. Go to the balcony. It's one of those doors there. He's usually home in the evening.
Thank you. We should go check out his apartment on the balcony. See if he's home.
I have a few questions about those apartments.
Ask away, policeman.
Is one of the residents on a vacation? Their mailbox is overflowing.
People come and go. I don't keep an eye on everyone.
They probably just moved or died, hopefully somewhere else.
Who lives in apartment number 10?
No one lives there. It's been empty for months.
But I talked to someone through the door.
Impossible. I would know if someone had moved in there. Maybe it's those countercultural people again, breaking into a house like it's a public space. You're a policeman. Be good and take a look, will you?
Sure, I'll go see what I can find.
Great. Young people. They're worse than rats. You know, always littering the hallways with trinkets and empty beer cans.
Who lives behind the padlocked door?
Oh, that one is a scientist, a future scholar. I think he studies astrology at the community college. Education's good. I always tell them to study.
Astrology?
Something to do with all those stars around his door. He asked me to leave his drawings up on the wall.
Are you sure you don't mean astronomy?
That's what I said. Astrology.
The lieutenant shakes his head as though to say, let it go. Come on, people. Try to keep up any standards here. It's not about stars. It's... forget it.
What can you tell me about Cindy?
The artiste? Nothing I can do about her, I'm afraid. She ruins the walls faster than I can clean them. Still, she leaves an old lady to her business. More than I can say for others.
Tell me about the man who lives at the end of the hallway, Uno de Reuter.
I don't want to talk about De Weeters.
Why not?
Addicts. All of them. And sometimes I hear them screaming. They don't like me cleaning behind their door. Think I'm listening in on their fights.
It was dirtier there, after the janitor's closet. She avoids the end of the hallway.
We saw unpaid utility bills. Aren't they going to be evicted?
No one likes them in this building. It's only because of the kids they haven't been thrown out. I don't like talking about those people.
That's all. Thanks.
She mumbles some kind of a response, then hacks something into her handkerchief.
Thanks, I'm off. A note reads, Foreclosed by Martinez Realty Associates. Waves crashing in the darkness. Someone has torn down the wall. An old grocery list on the table, and checks.
What happened here?
You can't foreclose on an apartment with a hole in the wall.
It will still be accessible through the apartment next to it. That one didn't have a door. Sadly, nothing of great value remains here.
Except the stuff in the fridge.
Indeed.
Real. Postcard, Boogie Street 46. This crumpled up postcard depicts an open-air market in Boogie Street 5 years ago. A vendor smiles as dead roosters line his stalls, hung by their feet from a canopy. Red blood flows onto the muddy street. Blurry shadows of people pass.
You hear someone walking around inside, rearranging the furniture. The number on the panel says 10.
This apartment is supposed to be empty. Did you break in here?
Excuse me? Of course not.
You have plenty of reason to enter.
Are you cooking morphine in there?
Oh, come on.
That was smart.
Ooh. Black monk straps. These pear and Ingersoll shoes have no lacing, but a strap and a buckle. Due to their inelegant and affluent design, they have been described as the most advanced dress shoes. So advanced, in fact, that walking through slush and mud does not leave a single trace on them. A blister pack of medicine peeks out of the box. You should take it. Hippogama. Alright. Looks like a fine mattress. Don't be ridiculous. You can hear it swarming with bugs.
Satisfied? My name is Marielle Charpentier, and I'm an agent with Martinez Realty Associates. I am not breaking in, as I have every right to be here. The keys, see?
Boy, there are a lot of different keys there. More than 20 at least. Her voice is really cheerful, despite her obviously hating you.
Do you want to see my ID as well? You can't legally ask for it, but why not? Want to see my residence permit too?
I don't need you. No, I will inspect the passport.
It feels flimsy in hand, with the words Revachol Zone of Control written under a nondescript municipal logo. There's a picture of her with shorter hair inside, along with all her personal details.
Nice haircut.
Thank you. Do you have any questions? I need to be back in Midtown in an hour.
What are you doing here?
I need to get it ready for the next lease, but as you can see, the previous tenant completely trashed the place.
I fuck shit up too.
Ha! Sounds like you've spent too much time undercover in some rock band.
Who lived here?
It was some kind of a moribund old man who used to be a business owner. You'd think they'd make rent.
A sudden serious look crosses her face. This story didn't have a happy ending.
But that was months ago. Anyway, was there anything you wanted, or is that it? I'm in a hurry.
Who lived in the foreclosed apartment down the hallway?
Oh, that's another huge mess. The former tenant owes us 3 months of rent. 3. We closed the apartment and planned on auctioning off the valuables, but... And again, I have no idea how stupid mistakes like this can even happen. But Ron, when he came to close the door, didn't close the neighboring door. And there's a hole in the wall. A hole in the wall. Can you believe it? And then the tenant ran off with his stuff. He's gone. The money's gone. Just like that.
The sum must have been puny. Oh, it irks her. The incompetence.
It couldn't have been that much money. Those apartments look pretty shabby.
These apartments are perfectly fine. They have gorgeous architecture, a million-real view of the bay, good ventilation, neighbors, life, spark, and they are affordable. I'll tell you, Martinez has a future. In a few years, it's going to blossom with artists and creatives and those radio computer wizards.
It's as if they're real wizards, able to resurrect dead real estate and breathe life into bank accounts.
So, wait, what happened with the wall?
Don't ask me what happened with the wall. I have no idea how we're going to find the time or resources to fix it. Both apartments are now unrentable. Both.
That's all. Thank you.
Of course.
Master Investigator, you just can't keep yourself away from locked and hidden places, can you?
It is my duty as a cop to investigate every square inch of this world.
Attaboy, The world's secrets were made for you. They wait patiently for you to uncover them.
Don't have the skill points to unlock another. Yet, but we'll see.
Give me a moment.
I didn't find any counterculture people in apartment number 10. It was just a real estate agent setting up the room for new tenants.
I see. I hope some good people are finally going to move in. This place needs them.
Yes, radio computer wizards are coming. They're gonna save the place. And the economy.
Oh, I do like wizards. And people like that in general. They have a lot to tell us about our fates.
She means clairvoyance.
Thanks. I'm off.
Ooh, the piggies have learned how to saunter up staircases. I didn't think you could do that with hooves. But here you are.
That's right. We've evolved.
Yeah, I can see that. Cool mutations.
That smell coming from her paint bucket. It's not paint. It's heavy fuel oil.
Is that heavy fuel oil?
Red-dyed heavy fuel oil, intended for exclusive use in government vehicles, to be precise.
What did you think I was using? Aquarels? Sucked it out of a cop's fuel tank myself. Back in Jamrock.
She really did it. She's proud of it too.
That's some clever cultural commentary.
You ain't seen nothing yet, piggy boo.
Catch you later, Cindy. The door is locked. You can't get in. The chair's new. Someone lives back here. Above, tarps flap in the wind. Forgotten hammers and nails rust. Keep hitting the wrong. Someone's been sleeping here recently. Cindy? 100 tiny feet scurrying beneath the grate. The rats of the city. Enough coal to last for several winters. Smells of chemicals. Poor Lom labourer genes. Although these genes look worn, the wearer must have had an ass given to them by the mighty lord himself. That beautiful, peach-shaped man-ass has imprinted itself so deep in the fabric, you can't but wonder if wearing them would start moulding your own vague rear side into a more shapely form as well. +1 electrochemistry, god-ass. -1 reaction speed, hindsighted.
The pockets of these new jeans are perfect for sticking your hand into. Makes you look cool, calm, and collected. As your hand enters the pocket, your fingers brush against something, soft, yet crinkly.
Take the item out.
Hey, it's a chewing gum wrapper. It reminds you of the fruity juice of apricots. You should inspect it closer if you have time. Something about the wrapper's texture is familiar. By the way, the raw materials were most likely exported from Seaguy, the apricot suzerainty, and processed in sur-le-clay into the apricot-flavored chewing gum, loved by kids of today and yesterday. Something about it is familiar, and not only to your fingers.
Thanks, Encyclopedia.
Hello again, officers. Have you come to admire my mural?
Is that bed in the coal room yours?
Ooh. Not only have you found my address, you've discovered my biggest secret. I'm a coal miner.
She does have eyes that seem to be smeared with coal.
Don't you have a real home?
Does anyone in a city like this?
If there's pain about any particular home she's lost, she's buried it deep, fortified herself against it.
It's not the nicest place, but I guess it'll have to do.
It doesn't have to do anything at all. Nothing does. Like me. Right now, I'm doing nothing at all.
Cool. I have other questions.
Shoot, Piggy. It's what
Catch
you
you.
do, isn't it?
Catch you later, Cindy.
That isn't just a five-pointed star. It's an inverted white pentagram cradled in a wreath of antlers, the iconography of communism, in other words.
Look out, Kim. There are communists around here.
I'll keep my armistice handy, detective.
He doesn't actually reach for his gun.
Inspect the symbol closer.
The star and antlers was developed in the 6th decade of the last century and quickly adopted by Mazov and the communards during the revolution. Even today, half a century after, the star and antlers retains the ability to evoke hope, disappointment, and fear in equal measure.
Why is the star upside down?
To symbolize the toppling of the old order. Also, some social democrats were already using it.
What's the deal with the antlers?
The wreath of antlers represents a natural crown. It was about building a society that could exist in accord with the natural world, and at the same time above it.
Why white?
Because white is the color of peace.
What does it evoke in me?
Nothing at all yet. Right now, it's just meaningless shapes on a wall.
A maroon glow of light pollution rises from the east. You hear distant traffic. Night is falling on the city. The breaker box is full of cigarette butts and electric wires. The curtains shift just a little. Someone is watching from within. Just a door. Nothing for you here right now. Someone's growing rosemary, thyme, and a cactus. This is the door to apartment number 30. Voices from within, singing along to some buoyant dance track. This is the door to apartment 29. Complete silence. Whoever lives here isn't home.
This door is made of metal and appears to be reinforced. Someone here really values their security. Number 28. This is where the cleaning lady said the smoker on the balcony lives.
Let's see if anyone's home. Knock on the door.
No one answers.
Looks like the young man we are looking for isn't home. I think our best chance to catch him is in the evening. We should return tomorrow after we have finished with our day's work. How about 9 p.m.? Sound good?
Sounds good. Tomorrow, 9 p.m.
Tomorrow, 9 p.m., right here. Apartment number 28. Good, let's go.
Damn. Turns out it's quite tricky finding someone in a big apartment building. Don't worry. You'll get him. Remember, tomorrow, He's probably gone for today.
Garden hose. This won't be of use until the snow melts. This coin-operated viewer has been banged up, inoperable.
This coin-operated viewer is facing southwest. Its coin slot is full of fossilized bubblegum, rendering the machine permanently inaccessible.
Poor little viewer.
The metal feels cold and wet under your palm. It looks unhygienic.
Look inside.
A thick layer of graffito covers the lenses. You spell out the word Onuk written on the other side, with N and C scribbled backwards. That's Kuno on the lens. Under the graffito, a sea of blues and greys appear. Behind the water lies a coast studded with concrete and reeds. On it, a church on stilts, lanky weather-worn wooden planks, an X-shaped cross topping its tower. You know this to be the Star of Pericanasis, or the Cairo, the central symbol of the Pericanassian Church, a star, a great moral height to be strived towards. The church looks old and weather-worn. There are no lights in the windows. Around the large wooden building you see chunks of sea ice gathered on the beach, and a small tent set up on the ice. This coin-operated viewer is facing south. The instruction manual says to insert 25 centimes and pull the handle while looking inside. Then use the focus knob to zoom in if necessary. Why place a tourist attraction in the middle of such poverty?
What's a tourist attraction doing here?
There was a revitalization project in 49. A design studio tried restoring Martinez to its pre-war glory. It didn't stick.
What happened?
They got as far as the street lamps and the statue on that intersection. Then something went sour. I suspect that something was Evrard Clare, the union leader. He muscled them out. It's how it usually goes around here.
The lieutenant adjusts his collar. It's frisky outside. Your money disappears into the coin slot, a clunk, the ring of metal. The curtains on the display open. You lean in to catch the view. It's blurry, different blues and greens. In the middle of the shimmer stands a drab grey shape, like a ghost.
Turn the knob to focus your vision.
The lenses shift. The ghost sharpens into an islet in the bay. In the ruins, a man-made structure is visible, a half-sunken sea fort, its concrete almost reconquered by nature. It looks as if it was abandoned quite some time ago. Nothing but a rotten tooth remains of the anti-aircraft tower. A lonely birch tree grows out of it, its leaves ripped from it by the winter wind.
Hang in there, little one.
The little brave birch tree seems to wave back in the wind.
There are ruins of some kind of building there.
Really? I don't have the eyesight to make it out.
Some great tectonic force has cracked the pavement like an eggshell. Goods from the lorry haphazardly litter the surroundings. Closed for winter. Please use main entrance. A glossy magazine. Most able-bodied men. This issue hosts a top 10 list. Jump Jams. A popular music mag. Frittte. Sick. Yellow roses. Dozens of them. Tulips, too. A melancholy pop song plays on the radio.
Welcome to Frittte. Feel free to look around or something. Everything is out on the shelves.
What's that magazine she's reading?
Before we go on, what is this Frittte?
I don't know. Frittte?
And what is Frittte?
A 7 to 11 grocery store.
Why is it written with 3 T's?
I think they think that the extra T makes it funkier. It doesn't.
The story goes that normal Frittte, with 2 T's, a men's workwear shop in Fort, was already taken. So when Frittte Retail Inc. grew into a multinational corporation, they had to add an extra letter to avoid trademark infringement.
What magazine are you reading?
You mean this? This is Pop Stars. It's got, like, famous people in it. It's not for sale.
Looks like it also has something called Police de la Mode, featured on page 34. This speaks to you.
Forget about all that. What is this fashion police feature?
It's where they rate different outfits famous people wear. It's kind of funny. They're kind of mean. It's about who's the most stylish.
So, who is the most stylish there? It can't be anyone from here.
Benita. She's a model. Usually it's a model. Or a singer-songwriter. Or a model.
We are not the fashion police. We're the real police.
Let's proceed. I have some questions for you.
Okay. I'm not really supposed to be chatting to anyone, but...
Does Frittte have a warehouse in the back of the Whirligin Rags?
A warehouse? I don't know. Maybe. I don't really care what Frittte does.
This is important.
She scrunches up her face into an expression of consummate adolescent skepticism.
Fine. Frittte doesn't have a warehouse. Just a little back room here. Okay?
Can you tell me anything about the dead body?
I don't really know anything. I mean, I know it's there, but I haven't seen it, so...
Did you know the man who died?
Not really.
Not really? Does that mean you knew him a little?
No. I didn't know him at all.
How long has it been there?
I don't know, really long.
What do you think happened?
I don't know.
No need to worry. It's just standard procedure for us to ask around. If you hear anything, let us know, okay?
Okay.
Thank you for your help.
Uh-huh.
Can you tell me anything about this reality we're in?
Reality? You mean, what reality? Economic reality, or...?
She is like a student unexpectedly called upon by a teacher. Can she answer the classroom question?
No, I meant physical reality.
I don't know. What about it?
Where are we?
We're in Frittte?
No, I mean, where are we? On a larger scale.
As mankind, or as a nation, or...
What will her essay prompt be?
As a mankind.
In a good place. I mean, science is doing great, and this radio computer thing seems to be kinda big. I don't know.
What time is it?
I don't know. Look at the clock. It's right behind you on the wall.
The clock shows the time at 10:09. The hands seem to be still. It's apparent the clock doesn't work.
What is the revolution?
When ordinary people take over the government and demand democracy.
What about the one we had here in Revachol?
Yeah, it happened like 50 years ago or so. Sorry, I'm not very good at this. At history, I mean.
The Coalition. What's that? Someone told me there is one.
Our government? Or do you mean something else? Sorry, I really need to finish this article.
I won't bother you with this nonsense anymore.
Cool.
You see several packaged raincoats fill a low shelf beneath a display of croissants and juice bottles. The raincoats are transparent, except for the big Frittte slogan on the back. The packages are small, discreet, sloppily stacked, making them easier to take unnoticed. No need to worry about knocking over a display.
What's that?
What is what? It's a raincoat. If you want to buy one, then it's only 4 real.
Her attention is drawn to the raincoats. Stealing one undetected will now be more difficult.
I want to buy a raincoat.
Here you go.
It says GRIH, the Greater Revachol Industrial Harbour.
Bastards! We have a right to work!
I am the law.
Hold up and stay frosty, everyone. Cops are here.
You here to fuck with us? Beat the honest worker down.
Why should I?
We're here to fight for a cause. Stripes usually have problems with people who have causes.
Then yes.
Ha! Couldn't handle us. Cause gives the workers strength, gives them power.
We have a right to work!
Besides, we're not that different. It helps if people see us talking, cops and strikebreakers together. Shows authorities are on our side. Builds confidence.
What kind of cause are we talking about?
Rights of people, rights of workers, to have gainful employment, to make a salary, and feed their families.
I don't think I've chosen any sides yet.
Might be time. Don't let the fat bastards tread on you. Cops tend to side with the higher-ups, but you're essentially still workers. I don't trust cops, but I can see you understand the
Right to work! Right to work!
Regardless, I have some questions for you.
Maybe you should ask them the questions, like why we're not allowed to make a living here.
Shame on you!
We have families to feed, you piece of shit.
So do we, Scab.
I actually need to speak with the union boss.
Have fun. Union shits are on full strike. Don't think they're going to let you through the gates. Why you want to meet that fat asshole?
I'm interviewing people about a murder that took place here, behind the hotel cafeteria there.
I know nothing about a murder.
The mention of a killing sends a barely noticeable shiver of tenseness through him. Interesting.
Why so tense?
What are you talking about? I'm not tense.
Yes, he's tense.
Right to work!
It's shameful. Cops doing nothing. You should bring backup. Open up the gates for us. Blockading gainful employment for workers is a crime.
This really isn't my area of expertise.
We are not picking a side in this just yet, sir.
Pity.
Let us work!
What is a strike?
When a bunch of ungrateful, lazy cockroaches can't get their act together, decide to block honest work for other people.
What do the strikers want?
Beats me. They mumble nonsense about boardrooms and workers' rights, while we
Have the right to work!
There's something odd in the way he carries himself. His set of clothing looks vaguely mismatched. The different pieces of the attire seem ill-fitting.
Ill-fitting? What does that mean?
His shirt is far too small and an unpleasantly tight fit, while the overalls, held up by a belt, seem to fit a man with much more corpulence.
You wearing new clothes?
He ignores your question, choosing instead to turn to the emaciated workers, raising both fists in the air. The clothes are obviously not his. Silence is the answer. There's something off here, but he won't say what. You've been talking to him for quite a while now. Something is off with this guy. Ask him where he's from.
Okay, I gotta ask. Where exactly are you from?
What's it to you?
Routine. Part of the investigation.
Am I a suspect? Done no crimes. I only fight for the rights of people.
Already got that. I'm interested in your background.
We're all workers, right? Workers stick together. Came from the eminent domain, in Jamrock. Backgrounds in odd jobs, heavy lifting, cargo hauling, bouncer work. I know the drill.
Sweet. I know bars. Been thrown out from several. Maybe that's why you seem familiar.
Worked at Territorial. Ring a bell?
Never heard of it. Are you lying?
We're done here. I have a strike to break.
Scab?
What exactly is a scab?
A kind of a worm, content with mere survival. They come, they want to do our job for shittier pay, screwing over both themselves and us. Everybody loses.
Hold on, where do they all come from?
Beats me. Somewhere in the ground, I think.
You don't seem to like them much.
Gotta be bloody stupid or freaking evil to Scab. Or I guess scared, maybe. But scared of what? Of who? Personally, I'd rather beg than scab. If the gentleman shouting on the street came begging, maybe they'd have gotten something.
Have you tried talking to them?
We've explained the matters, but they don't listen. This lot would be reasonable and go home if the big guy wasn't riling them up all the time.
Big guy. He means the leader of the scabs.
I'm not a scab. I'm a cop.
I was just messing with you. No one's ever seen a cop scab. Imagine, you cops going on a strike, but then another cop comes in and says, "Let us cop for less money." Speaking of, what brings the RCM here? To the Wild North? Come to see the strife?
Hey, you're the man in boots at the gate. Kuno said you know about the armor.
The little boy had a good on his promise.
His promise?
To get me into trouble. To sick the pigs on me, pardon the choice of words, not mine.
What happened?
I was asked to look into that armor situation. Official Union probe, you know. Track it down, see who took it.
Did you?
At first I thought, why not? Maybe the pieces can feed the strike. Buy us a few more days under the sun, you know? So I went to this boy. He said he'll make me his prison bitch. He's got eyes everywhere, and the cops in his pocket, and he's the king of Jamrock. Serves me right for doing menial footwork. I dropped that probe right then and there, and it still got me into trouble. One bad move is all it takes.
So, Kuno used this to what? Scare you?
It's a minor nuisance. It's all good.
The probe into the armor. What did you learn?
I learned that people don't want to talk to a drunk Union man about some armor.
What else?
Not much. Technical stuff mostly. That was the interesting part.
What sort of technical stuff?
I did some research into this armadura. Let's say I have friends at the library. I didn't get into the material science, just how it comes off.
How does it come off?
In parts. 4 in total. The helmet was the first to go. The kid says he tore it off and kicked it into the sea. I believe him. The boots were still on the guy last I saw. Too hard to remove. So, as I count, there are 2 parts missing. The gauntlets and the cuirass. This is where I left off. Too much hassle. More like a job for some militia.
Hold up, 4 pieces. Helmet, cuirass, gauntlets, boots. What about the leggings?
Oh, they're just gone. They don't exist anymore, if they ever did at all. Forget about them. I did.
I'm gonna find 1 piece of it. 1 is enough.
Nice and balanced. Some junior officers can take care of the rest.
Smart choice. It's only that one spot you need armored too. The one the bullet hits.
Thank you for your cooperation, sir.
No problem. If you see that kid, thank him from Call Me Mañana. Thank him for showing me the way.
He is sincerely grateful he is not tracking down pieces of armor right now.
I need to get past the gates and speak with your boss.
Oh. Good, good. What matters do you want to discuss with Everard?
He might have information about a killing that took place behind the hostel.
Everard's got a lot of knowledge about a lot of things, eh? Doesn't often dole it out, though. But sure, why not?
Does this mean you can let me
I
through
don't
the
operate
gate?
in that capacity. I'm not a granter of passage. The passage grants itself.
Beneath the jolliness, he suddenly seems doubtful. If it's all so simple, why don't the strikebreakers just go up the stairs?
That simple? I just walk in?
Aye. Walk right past Measurehead and go in.
Past Measurehead.
Yeah, the 2.5-meter tall Semini supremacist there. Walk right past him,
Right.
then press the button to unlock the door,
Uh-huh.
then go past him again,
Okay.
and you enter the Harbour through the office. Está.
So you're saying it's actually quite difficult.
Don't worry, I'm sure it's not completely impossible. For example, you could best Measurehead in a physical confrontation. Or you could convert to a Semini supremacist worldview. Or, maybe it actually is completely impossible.
Has anyone here ever bested him in a physical confrontation?
Not yet, no. He's incredibly strong.
Has any of the scabs tried converting to his worldview?
Jean-Luc himself would say the philosophy has proven overly heroic for the scabs to convert to. Not enough intuition.
Got it. Another thing.
Sure.
What's this strike about, anyway?
You know, serious business. I'm sure the big boss will be glad to tell you. You'll have to ask him first.
He's a chatty guy. Wants to talk about the strike. Return once you've met the union boss and are on a better footing with the organization.
Nice talk. Gotta get moving. Right. Gonna take a short break to check in with any Kofis that might have come in. Oh yeah, here we are. Misty and Katie, your voice should be added to the game, smiley face. Oh, thank you. I'm doing my best. Kofi from Mr. Mungles, no message. Well, thank you, Mr. Mungles. Red Dead Zombie. Hey Johnny, hope everyone is having a good week. You reference a lot of poetry in your work, and you write in rhythmic styles sometimes. Do you have a favourite poem or poet? Jerry Manley Hopkins is my jam. I turn 34 soon, getting from Hell's Heart for my birthday. Super excited. Ah, that's really cool. There are quite a lot of poems that I really like. I don't know, I've never dived super deep into poetry. I knew, there were a few years I actually lived with a slam poet who was really good, and so I ended up going to a decent number of those shows. Basically, all the names have vanished from my mind, although Faye, who plays Daisy in Magnus Archives, is also a very good poet. In terms of my actual favorites, most of the ones that I know and really like tend towards the classics, and I don't know. I think I'm kind of a basic bitch when it comes to poetry. Like, I think my favorite might be Ozymandias. It is Ozymandias and Kubla Khan are the two that really I don't know. I like the lyricism of them. But look, yeah, I rhythm and rhyme appeal to me, and I like to play with them, but poetry as a genre is not one that I've ever felt more than a sort of a desire to occasionally play with. I also do enjoy Jared Manley Hopkins. My favourite thing about Jared Manley Hopkins is how just insanely horny he is for our Lord and Saviour Jesus Christ. You know, he is the epitome of Christians say to love Jesus, but Jared Manley Hopkins is in love with Jesus. He's always talking about my Lord Jesus digging in the garden. Oh, I love to imagine you digging in a holy garden, your holy muscles just kind of rippling and covered in holy sweat. It's very I really enjoy that. Go from Jay. I'm gutted that I'm catching the tail end of the streams, but I'm just happy to be here. I'm going to Pride in cosplay as Johnny DeVille tomorrow, and I'm hoping I won't sweat off the eyeliner I, for some reason, spent way too much on. If it's good quality eyeliner, it should do pretty well. If you are, so what I tended to use it's not technically eyeliner. It's a sort of water. I think it's called. It's a waterproof liquid. It's like waterproof liquid face paint. I forget. I used to get it from Charles Fox's in London. But if you search for black waterproof face paint or liquid face paint, you should be able to find it. And I used to just apply it with a paintbrush. CJ Salvatore subscribed with Prime, thank you. Inky Pine subscribed with Prime, thank you. Alia Baxter, hi from Iceland this week. So, less productive week, but I had my reasons. Also, I did some calculating and I've listened to the Mex discography around 440 times. Very, very roughly. Well, thank you. That's really cool. Oh, sorry, Maddie's put a picture in the mods Discord, messing around learning how to send different video signals to separate LED walls. So this stream is currently on a big LED wall in a workshop, which is okay. That's a big my face on an LED wall. Good, excited for my face to be huge and on a wall. And Kofi from Rune of Nowhere. Sad to see these streams go, but things change and that's alright. At least I get to watch for a change. I'm on leave after finally getting my long-awaited top surgery 2 weeks ago and healing well. Cheers for the good times had and more to come. Congrats on the teat yeet. Recover well and swiftly, and glad you can join us while you're doing so. Yeah, so we're about to go talk to Measurehead, who is Measurehead has some thoughts on race, and yeah, it's like the broad content warning here is for racism. It is hard to give a lot more clarity than that. A notice: in case of a strike, press button behind guard. A hermetically sealed door, locked by electronic means. There's no lockpicking or door kicking this one. So it's hard to give more specific content warnings for Measurehead because he is one of the characters where I think the creators are taking one of the biggest swings in terms of thinking about race and racism and this sort of thing. And for my money, I don't think it lands quite the way that they want it to. Yeah. Let's go encounter Measurehead.
Your body betrays your degeneracy.
Yeah, Measurehead. His body totally betrays his degeneracy.
Say nothing. Size him up first.
Are you admiring my morphophysiology? It must be frightening to stand in the shadow of this racial pinnacle. Be calm, Sandwich. You are not in danger, because you are not a threat to me.
My body is unimportant. I'm with the police and we need to get into the harbour.
That is precisely the negligence that has led you to succumb to Al-Ghul. You reek of it. An invisible sword of Al-Ghul emerges from your throat. You cannot see it, but others can. It is making the woman in my company sick.
Wait, Al-Ghul?
Yes, Al-Ghul.
It means alcohol.
Understood.
I doubt it, my microcephalic race servant.
Is it really so bad?
It's not good.
It's like a rat crawled into your stomach, got drunk and drowned.
You're right. I'm an alcoholic. Now I need to enter the harbour.
No, you don't. You need to get another drink. Occidental Haplogroup B4 is done giving orders around here. The influence of the ham sandwich race is waning.
I am the police and I need you to comply now.
Jerking motions, signs of a late-stage neurodegenerative disorder. How far the Occidental Haplogroup has fallen. You were once a noble and powerful race. You gave the world eugenics, electricity, and powerful weapons of war like missiles and aerostatic aircraft. You made great gains in metallurgy, race theory, and statecraft. You dominated lesser cultures, like the deformed Hemians and the inexplicably potato-obsessed Kroikos. But now your ascent to the genetic summit has halted. You are obsessed with sadness and with frivolous pop culture. You will be superseded. Isn't that right, babe?
It is, baby, yeah. You know it.
There is a button right behind him. just out of reach. It must be the one that opens the door to the harbor.
Situation is serious. Your people have probably killed a man. I need to talk to your boss.
Enough with this begging. You should leave the stage of history with dignity by inviting the other races to a great world war. Bring your troops to the Seminine Islands and to Boogie Street, and we will pulverize you. When you are gone, we will build a museum for you. The walls will be lined with bottles of Al Ghul, your beloved beverage. Inside, we will store the odes to homosexuality you call art, and your microcephalic skulls.
Isn't Everett the Union boss white?
Don't be vulgar. White or not has got little to do with this. The race enigma runs much deeper than that.
Yeah, but you still serve him. How does that factor into your life?
Mr. Clare is a man of vision and means. He has the will to confront International Capital, which is something your race naivistic communists never did. Also, to serve is noble. It takes discipline. Your petulant individualism has only contributed to your race failure. It is lax and moronic.
Communism is pretty cool.
Idiotic communism is the single greatest contributor to your race descent. Everywhere around you. The fruits of its failure to challenge the world order. Individualism, rock and roll music, sexually transmitted diseases. Above all, rampant multinational finance still reigning large. Tell me, where have you gotten your love of pathetic communism from? Degenerate youth culture? Rock and roll music?
I have gotten it from disco, actually.
Offshoots of the Seminese people invented disco while having sex under the influence of cocaine. It is a shame upon my race. But what is done is done. I am not surprised you enjoy it so much. This has happened to many of the side products of the inevitable cultural victory of the Seminese race.
I don't really know who the Seminese are. I've recently experienced head trauma.
I can see that. The Seminese are the South Island race, haplogroup A4A, the rightful masters of the Insulindian archipelago. We descend from the Areopagites of ancient Pericarnassus, and arrived here 4,000 years ago. We are the future. That is all you need to know.
So, you were born and raised on the islands before you moved to Revachol?
I am a descendant. The narrow streets of Ulimbuir are with me in my genetic dreams. I see young Seminese women walk into the grey mass on Ile de Fantôme, waiting on immaculate conception from the pale.
So you did come from the islands?
No. I have heard about it on the radio.
So you're not really Seminese, you're just from Revachol?
I'm from Couronne. And no, it is not just in Revachol. The city is central to the Seminese strategy. Spreading through its trade networks, our culture will dominate the world. You have heard enough about our phylogenetic secrets for today. You have extinction to come to terms with, and never getting into the harbor.
What do you think about this?
I don't think anything about this. We are wasting our time having this conversation.
Your pedomorphic friend is right. You should leave here with your tail between your legs, contemplating race extinction. I am an immovable obstacle.
Know anything about this mug?
He does not so much as glance at the object.
Or didn't it put this into the trash lately?
Stop showing me your pathetic cup. I have no interest in it.
What are those tattoos of yours supposed to mean?
Racists are generally not very good examples of their race.
Welcome to Revachol. You hear him yell at a redhead woman visiting the Frittte nearby. He must think redheads are immigrants.
I am not like them. I am craniometric perfection. I have taken the trouble to permanently draw a phrenologic grid on my skull and features. This should dispel any doubt. Your silence betrays your inferiority. You do not have a reply. You should enter a deep race slumber. Perhaps in 4,000 years, there is need for a servile homunculus.
We still need to get into the harbor. There's an interview to conduct. There must be another way.
Hey, psst.
Me?
Yes, you. Word on the street is you're ready to start building communism again.
Again?
Yes, you're ready to start building communism again. You've built it before. They've built it before. Hasn't really worked out yet. But neither has love. Should we just stop building love, too?
Love has worked out really well for me. I'm a love winner.
Good. We need tender men like you building gargantuan communism. Word on the street is it's going to be 10,000 times larger than any communism previously attempted by human beings. Is that right?
How come there's word on the street?
You keep saying things like, down with the bourgeoisie, eat the rich, sodomize the landowners, impale all people who have more than 25 real in their pocket. Literally murder all human beings, regardless of their political beliefs. That kind of stuff.
Oh, right. That does sound like me.
Funky style. Very funky. So tell me, do you have any questions before we fire up the big communism builder? Or do we get right down to it?
Wait, first, what's this communism even about?
Failure. It's about failure.
Failure?
Yes, abject failure. Total, irreversible defeat on all fronts. Absolutely vanquished, beaten, curb-stomped and pissed on. Until you came along. You will reverse the fortune of the workers of the world. You alone, against every living thing, against every human alive. 800 trillion real in the hands of an impossibly well-organized ruling class. Towering city blocks of bankmen who have the ears of prime ministers. Million-headed armies of nations and the love of your own mother. You against the atom, the charm and the spin, where the whole world failed. Matter failed to bend to human will. Human will failed to get out of bed and tie its laces. You alone, single-handedly, will rebuild the dreams of the working class. You are the last communist. Now get to work, comrade.
Roll up your sleeves and start building communism.
Oh yeah. Get the firing squads and the animal wagons ready.
Wait, what? Firing squads? You didn't say anything about those.
Too late to back out now. You can't make an omelette without breaking a few million eggs.
I'm not actually going to internalize the thought of Maslowian social economics because it actually gives. It does not give good bonuses and gives some penalties, and yeah. People think communism was some crazy idea that had its comeuppance 40 years ago, a fever that shook the world, never to return. They were right, until he woke up, a spiritual corpse responsive only to the call of Commodore Red, prostitutes and Kras Mazov. For him, communism is still a thing. He will single-handedly raise the commune of O2 from the oceanic trench where it has been resting, covered in ghosts and seaweed. He is the big communism builder. Come witness his attempt to rebuild communism in the year 51. The lorries probably stored fuel here. Now they store booze. Foreign car, kept in good condition.
The small, wrinkled woman does not greet you. She nods along to something on her radio. A photograph is clutched in her hands, and there is a warm smile on her face. The photo, an ambrotype from the turn of the century, as golden as her smile. It's the warmth of a winter night's fire. Maybe she could give you comfort and shelter, some cigarettes and food money. Maybe she's your...
And Ma?
Nothing. Her smile just keeps widening. Her hair is grey like lead.
Excuse me, Mom. I'd like to ask some questions.
No response. Wherever this woman is, your words fail to reach her.
If you want her attention, you may need to be more forceful.
Where am I? Who are you?
The smile on her face has disappeared, replaced by the weary aspect of a cornered beast.
You alright, Mom? You were out.
Never mind. I remember now. I'm still stuck in that traffic jam in the 50s.
Wait, what's so bad about the 50s?
The men have small jaws and everything is made out of plastic. Why do you need plastic when you can make the world out of amber?
Where else would you be then?
Back in Methka, during the time of the revolution. The sidewalks and cafes are filled with young people. I was on my way to see a new boiadeiro picture starring Gabriel Buenguerro. Until you came along, that is.
Who's Gabriel Buenguerro?
This is Gabriel Buenguerro.
A strikingly handsome man looks straight at you, his head crowned with a wide brim hat. His hair is dark as an oil slick, and his jaw the most perfectly chiseled thing you've ever seen.
He was the biggest star of his day. Girls used to faint in the aisles of cinema whenever he came on the screen, and schoolboys used to memorize all his lines.
So I take it you were in Mesk when you were young?
Someone was.
Someone? Are these not your memories?
They are someone's memories, boy. What difference does it make if it's me or not? They're beautiful. That is all that matters. beautiful and true. And they will win. They're coming for this, you know? All of this.
She seems to derive some bitter pleasure from this strange thought, as if the past will one day wipe the present away, like a tidal wave approaching.
Sorry to interrupt your dreaming, Mom.
I wasn't dreaming. I was there, Lawman. It was early spring, and the man behind the black sun had just come out. The posters were 20 meters tall. Everything was golden. While you, people, were tearing each other apart over your petty little revolution, in Methk it was a golden age.
The Republic of Mesk is a massive confederation on the Isola of Muindi, the world's largest state by territory. It's a petrostate, a constitutional monarchy, and, as of recently, an outcast due to its tilt to the far right.
Right, I have some other questions for you. Police questions.
Why not, Sheriff? It's not like I have anything better to do in this hellhole.
There's something off about this woman. Tell her to show you the soles of her boots. Maybe she was at the hanging somehow.
Show me the soles of your boots.
Now what do you want with an old woman's boots, Sheriff?
It's for important police business, Mom.
I'm starting to think you should let me get back to Gabriel Buenguerro. You are no Gabriel.
She's wearing sturdy worker's boots, made of black leather. Buckles run across. The sole is also made of leather.
Now the other one, please.
Just before Gabriel, it was the coronation of Franco Negro. Now, there was a real man.
Moreover, the boots were size 37, tiny. There are too many discrepancies in all this. Another discrepancy, although not boot-related, is the coronation of His Innocence Franco Negro, which happened 500 years ago.
Wait, what do you mean it was the coronation of Franco Negro?
It was. And then it was no more. And I was no longer holding my father's hand. He was no longer descending the stairs in Ryle. The crowd had gone silent. Perhaps it was another Sheriff who came and woke me up, looking at my boots, asking questions. Or perhaps it was one of the others in this carnival. I don't remember.
As she says carnival, she gestures to the empty square with the statue and the machines.
She is not Odd Soul. These are not the boots that made the prints.
I could have told you that from just looking at them. A size 37.
The feet of a little girl, they fit well on the pedals.
What are you hauling?
Diamonds.
Diamonds? Really?
Of course not. But wouldn't it be marvelous if I was?
Okay, but what are you really hauling?
Whatever stupid things they put in the lorry, I imagine.
So, you don't know what you're hauling in your own lorry?
I quit concerning myself with that a long time ago. Besides, I don't drive the lorry for the cargo, if you know what I mean.
I don't think I do know what you mean.
Of course you don't.
I still don't understand this whole boiadeiro thing.
Of course not. To truly understand the boiadeiro, you need to listen to on the Western Plain.
A boiadeiro, boia for short, is a cowherder from upstream Magritte, the great steppes of northern Mesk. He is a rugged individualist and explorer.
Okay, what's that?
It's an old ballad about a young girl who falls in love with a daring boiadeiro. He promises to marry her as soon as he returns from the Western Plain.
I'm guessing that doesn't happen.
Of course not. The boiadeiro returns from the Western Plain a changed man. One night, As he and his beloved are out walking along the river Maigret, she pleads with him to give up his riding and settle down.
I think I see where this is going.
So the boiadeiro strangles his beloved and throws her body in the Maigret. Then he rides off, because the Western Plain is calling to him.
A beautiful song.
The most beautiful. A true boiadeiro needs a whole horizon to himself. He can't be tied down by man or woman. His beloved was selfish. She didn't know what it meant to love a boiadeiro.
What if to truly love a boiadeiro is to float lifeless downstream?
Before I came, you seemed away.
She's just a distracted old woman. We should maybe let her get back to her things.
So he doesn't think she's a smuggler?
You hear that, Lowman? I don't think your partner likes you spending too much time with me.
Wait, why is that, Lieutenant?
Nothing. I just don't think she's connected to anything.
He doesn't want your frail mind caught up in something here. Something unconnected to the case. But connected to this woman tuning out like that.
Should you drive a lorry if you get like that?
Oh, don't worry about me. I'm one of the best camioners around. I drive routes no one else will.
What routes?
Lomonosov's Land, Udajnaya Zemlya, the Western Plain, the Transcatholia Magistral, U41A, Adestradas do Mirador, all the good ones, the deep trenches, where the bluebirds fly.
I'm something of an expert on blacking out. You should take better care of yourself. No. Cool. Ride until you're dust, sister.
Irmão, I already am dust.
You seem like a woman who knows a thing or two about drugs.
What do I need drugs for, Lowman? What I see, what I feel, the great adversary, no drugs can compare.
The adversary?
Yes. There is a protagonista and an adversario. I am on the side of the adversary. There's no coming back from that hole.
Those epithets are familiar somehow. The great adversary, the great unrest.
That's not really what I was getting at.
Then what were you getting at?
I wanted to ask if you'd be interested in smuggling some drugs.
Why would I want to do that?
I don't know, the thrill of the criminal lifestyle?
Lowman, what in the name of God are you talking about?
Okay, let me put this another way. Are you smuggling drugs through Terminal B?
Maybe. Probably not. Makes no difference to me either way.
You said earlier you don't know what cargo you're hauling. Could it be drugs?
Just this month I made half a dozen trips from Saramiriza to Grad on the U41A. What do you think they take from Saramiriza to Grad, Lowman?
Drugs?
No, Lowman. Diamonds.
If you had to guess, who do you think is smuggling drugs around here?
Easy. It's the skinny man who thinks he's a poet. Never trust a poet. Also, he's the only one I can see from here.
That's correct. There is no visibility of any of the others.
Okay, if you're not involved with the drug trafficking, then why are you still waiting here?
Where do you want me to go? This isn't so bad. I can listen to music, or the seagulls. Look at all the colors and the futures of this world. It's a good palate cleanser, this jamboree. Or I can just relax and let my mind carry me back where it will, to the Great Plains.
I think we're done here, no?
Thank you for now.
Yes, go. Enough jamboree. I need to get back to Mesque.
I love the pale driver.
We should think about calling it a day, maybe. The nights are still miserably cold this time of year.
I haven't paid the cafeteria manager for damages yet.
You should take care of that, then.
But I don't have the money.
Let's talk to him anyway. An officer of the RCM shouldn't be sleeping in the streets. We'll figure something out.
Though he finds this situation frustrating, he is doing his best to not make you feel any worse than you already do.
Can I help you?
Here's your trash container key.
Thanks. I hope you found what you were looking for.
I found the victim's clothes.
How strange. I certainly didn't put them there.
Maybe you don't remember putting them there. Maybe you were sleepwalking or in a fugue state. Or in a fugue state.
I think fugue states are more your forte, officer.
Okay, fair. Could someone on your staff have put them there?
Sylvie had the keys before I got here, and I can vouch for her. I can vouch for all my staff. None of us would tamper with the crime scene.
Who else has keys to the trash container?
The trash collection service? CS Municipal. I don't see why they would put anything in the trash, though.
Ah, the elusive CS Municipal. I doubt we'll be able to track down who was sent here last and when. This will have to be one of those little threats that solves itself down the road. Thank you anyway.
Thanks. Let's talk about something else.
Yes?
So, about that money I owe.
Yes. Have you got it?
I was wondering if we could come to some sort of arrangement for tonight.
Does that arrangement include you paying me what we already agreed you owe me?
He was about to say something. Let him.
I understand your predicament as the manager. However, I feel I must remind you that we are here to conduct an important investigation that also affects your business.
Forgive me for saying this, but your colleague seems more committed to drinking, and... I mean no offense. It's really nothing personal. I just have to protect the interests of this establishment.
This conversation isn't going anywhere, is it?
Not until you bring me the money.
Okay. I might have something in my motor carriage we can use when you're done here.
I really didn't want to resort to this. The man is thinking.
Oh, Lieutenant, we're done here.
Goodbye.
Jamais vu. Derealization. Jamais vu. The opposite of déjà vu. Not already seen, but never seen. Everything that should be familiar appears strange and new, like some half-forgotten day in your childhood. Only now. That's the feeling you've been having. And for who knows how long. You should go and ask Joyce Messier about this. What world are we in? This is a fundamental question. Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out tool.
I have something here we could sell. Look in the back, in the suspect transport enclosure.
Transport enclosure? Regular people just call it the cage.
In the suspect transport enclosure.
The cage at the back of the motor carriage looks rather uncomfortable. 4 shiny hubcaps are stacked against the seat. Their silver edges sparkle in the dark.
I confiscated these 4 a little while back. We can take them to the pawn shop down by the Martinez Canal.
What are those things?
There are spinner hubcaps, frivolous things you put on your wheels. When the wheels come to a stop, the caps keep on spinning. There's no real use for them, it's just for vanity.
What do you mean you confiscated them?
A couple of weeks ago, I stopped a young man for going slower than the speed of traffic. Turns out he was some coalition official's son and high.
I get it. I would have confiscated them too. They're mesmerizing.
That they are. I was going to take them into evidence, but they weren't necessary for conviction. He never asked for them back.
Did you want to put these spinners on your machine?
No, that would be silly. I don't know why I kept them. It doesn't matter. I couldn't put them on this MC anyway. A cop with spinners. That would be outrageous.
Yes, outrageously cool.
He flashes a smile, barely visible in the dark.
I'm sorry you have to sell them because of me.
As I said, they're useless anyway. I should have remembered I have these earlier.
But thank you.
You said something about a pawn shop.
Yes, there's one 100 meters south of here. I think it's called Roy's Nest or something. If I'm not mistaken, it should be open late.
Items that can be pawned at Bird's Nest Roy's appear in your inventory under
Thanks.
the items tab.
I appreciate your help.
The lieutenant nods as you take the spinners.
An ancient fountain. It doesn't pump water anymore. There's a tree in it. A sewer grate. A gateway to the river of filth. No offend. Roy's Pawn Shop. Fast cash for faster times. Ooh, fingerless gloves. Ah yes, a transparent plastic raincoat with Frittte, sick, written on the back. The package photo shows a group of happy Revacholians dancing in the rain. +1 endurance, part of Fritte's army. Fingerless gloves. Gasoline-stained fingerless gloves in navy blue. They've been worn threadbare, but being made of wool still provides some warmth and comfort. Waterlock out of order until Wednesday, 7:15 AM. Put a sign down!
A crumpled billboard reading, Samaran butter, soaks in the canal. 2 ugly lines mar the bright countenance of the blonde boy depicted. The sign billboard has fallen on the waterlock, keeping it open, and thus out of order.
What is Samaran butter?
Whatever it is, the boy on the billboard seems very happy about it. Goat milk butter. The Samaran terrain makes it easier to raise goats than cows, and the local goat farmers produce high-quality meat and dairy staples that add variety to other nations' diets. It's an acquired taste.
Is there anything I've got that helps me with visual calculus? No, I don't think so currently.
A crumpled the sign billboard has fallen on the waterlock, keeping it open. Judging by the size of the impact and the parallel lines of burnt rubber, the cause was probably a motor vehicle. These look like the same tire tracks I saw earlier, in front of the
Where's
whirling
it, baby boy?
rags.
Look at the crater.
Side slip marks indicated that the vehicle was traveling up the crater at 35 kilometers an hour.
Look at the roof of the shack.
The black marks on the roof indicate that the vehicle vaulted from the crater to the roof of the shack.
Look at the sloping metal roof panel.
The panel served as a takeoff ramp.
Look at the broken posts.
The vehicle soared through the air, hitting the billboard and upsetting the posts. Then it continued its flight, taking the billboard with it.
Look at the sign.
The sign broke the vehicle's fall into the canal. The salmon and butter billboard still looks freshly painted, suggesting it took the plunge recently.
How recently?
Within the past 72 hours.
Look at the opposite bank.
Still speeding, the vehicle made a loop and vanished into the fog along the coast.
What was the model of this phantom vehicle?
There are two good candidates, the Caprice 40 and the Linear G22.
Why the Caprice 40?
It's about the right size, and the tyre marks look like they came from the skinny tyres frequently found on that motor carriage. The Caprice 40 is a very popular model, with bank clerks, topping pie delivery drivers, secondary school teachers, cops, strippers dressed as cops, undressed strippers.
Why the Linear G22?
Very sturdy but light motor carriage. More likely than most to survive that jump. The Linear G22 is not a particularly popular model due to its peculiar proportions, which the manufacturer's design team probably thought about for too long.
What now?
You'd have to follow the tracks to be sure. The lieutenant looks on, waiting for you to wrap up your analysis.
Any theories about what happened here?
Looks like someone was in a real hurry.
What kind of car do you think it was?
I think it was a Caprice 40.
That's quite likely, from what I can tell.
Yeah, I have no idea. Who could it have been?
We're not traffic cops. Should we get back to the murder?
We should bring this driver to justice.
If we must.
I'm not expecting him to get far with this, the lieutenant consoles himself. A couple of indicator lights are missing from this control panel. Loose wires dangle from the now vacant holes. In the middle is a lever. Beneath it, a small metal plaque. This panel usually closes the waterlock, turning it into a bridge that lets you cross the canal. But there's a crashed salmon and butter sign in the way. Pulling the lever probably won't do anything. You pull the lever all the way up until the metal clicks against the contact pins. You hear a soft clunk. Then, nothing happens. The spring brings the lever back to its original position. You still need to close the waterlock to get across the canal, some other way.
Sorry?
Wasn't there a sign over there saying functionality will be restored on Wednesday morning?
I'm just gonna do the pawn shop, and then I think I'm gonna call it a stream. Some kind of machine, an antique cash register. In the dark, a film projector is whirring away. A bust of a woman. The plaque simply says Day. Mostly military wear, with a few more eccentric fashions thrown in.
It's not often that I see officers from the RCM in my pawn shop. What can I do for you?
His courtesy is not insincere, but he prefers being alone with his projector, just watching the movement of light across the walls of the shop.
Sorry, I feel like I'm interrupting you.
Oh no, not at all. I guess I haven't had many customers lately, RCM or otherwise.
Who are your customers usually?
All kinds of people come through here. Locals, travellers, people looking for a deal, people looking for a keepsake, people who are terminally bored. As you can see, I have a wide selection of goods for everyone to choose from.
Quite the collection. I may have something to add to it.
It keeps me entertained.
There's something I'd like to
Yes,
sell.
we'd like to sell these hubcaps.
Roy takes the hubcaps from the lieutenant and inspects them. The spinners appear iridescent in the dancing light of his pawn shop.
Yes, these are very, very good. Did you defraud some foreign prince for them? Jump a mesk banger? No matter. I'll give you 200 real.
No one was defrauded or jumped, I assure you.
Of course, I meant no offense. 200 real for you, officer. Delightful doing business with you. Do come again.
Thank you. Here's the 130 real you need for your bill. Do not waste it.
The windfall is a small consolation.
Anything else you're thinking of selling?
I don't have anything else to sell at the moment.
Another time, perhaps.
Do you know anything about the traffic menace on the loose?
Traffic? I'm sorry, officer, but I don't drive.
But didn't you hear it when the traffic menace drove over your roof?
Now that I think about it, I do remember hearing a thunderous noise the other night. Some kind of powerful electric vortex hitting the shop, and then moving on.
That sure narrows down our list of suspects.
Does that mean you don't have any idea who the driver was?
He shakes his head, slowly.
You might be able to aid our investigation.
I doubt it, but I can try and answer any questions you may have.
Know anything about the recent hanging?
I do my best to keep my distance from all manner of butchery. Bad for business, bad for everyone.
Never had any dealings with Everett Clare?
He's been by the shop a couple of times.
There was something awfully deliberate about that laziness.
Why do I feel like you don't want to talk about him? You hiding something?
They weren't the most pleasant interactions. Small town bigwigs always want everyone to play a part in the play they're staging. But I bowed out at some point. I prefer to watch from afar while the bigwigs come and go.
I heard the forewoman before Everett disappeared.
It was all very strange. That forewoman was more pleasant than Everard. But I guess it's all the same in the end.
Did he buy anything?
He purchased a remarkably garish paperweight the first time he was here. Nothing the second.
Did he discuss union business with you?
He tried. Wanted to come to some mutually beneficial agreement around my dealings with the dock workers. I politely declined to hear him out.
So you don't know what kind of arrangements he was talking about?
As I said, I refused to talk to him. That's why he came back a second time. That's also why he hasn't come back a third.
I have other questions about this.
He nods reluctantly.
Actually, that's all I've got.
The pawnbroker's gaze is already fixed on the dancing colors.
Just going quickly. I've got my electrochemistry jeans. Got my electrochemistry gloves. That's just other electrochemistry. We're electrochemistry as high as we can be.
Greetings on this fine night. What brings you here?
You do know it's not really a fine night. The weather is terrible.
Is it? Spring is capricious, yes.
How come you're still open?
The pawn shop is always open.
Feeling warm and enthralled by the movement of light, while the mind continues to race forward. Lucky bastard, he's probably on Pyrrolidon. It's tough to come by on the street.
Pyrrolidon? What is that?
A drug developed by the military to treat and prevent radiation sickness. It has psychedelic side effects, and it makes your eyes turn yellow.
So, where does a man get Pyrrolidon these days?
How would I know?
There's a note of indignation in his voice. Interesting. Those triangle patches on his vest, you have a feeling they mean something, like they're similar to the halogen rectangle on your jacket.
Say, what's with the triangles on your vest?
I was with the Emergency Relief Brigade. You know, after the People's Pile disaster. Had to take Pyrrolidon for radiation sickness. That's what you were hinting at just now, wasn't it?
He's taken it for mental and emotional, not physical pain these days.
People's Pile? What's that?
A bad idea. Some poor leftist built a particle decay generator in hopes of bringing affordable electricity to underserved communities. It malfunctioned. Radioactive waste everywhere. Probably some of it in you too.
Tell me more about this emergency relief brigade you were a part of.
We were an all-volunteer force, self-organized. Tried to help the fire brigades contain the spill.
On the patch, gamma radiation lines crossed with a red drop of blood.
I lived by the river since I was a small boy. The Esperance. Didn't have the art to let it all go to shit without trying to do something to help out. There wasn't much the volunteer force could do, however. We wasted years in the river mud. Years getting sick.
It must have been tough. Radioactive cleanup.
There's a reason why everyone's tried to forget any of it ever happened, and why no one has tried to repair or replace the pile. So much disappointment, and early deaths. Cancer mostly. And we knew all that was coming even as we were cleaning up as best we could.
Whose fault was it that the generator failed?
No one's. Everyone's.
So much bitterness.
A bunch of poor people built themselves a primitive nuclear reactor, hoping for the best. What do you think is going to happen?
How did you end up running a pawn shop?
The cleanup happened 15 years ago. I was young then. Later, my second aunt died. Left me this shack and all the assorted junk in it. So I came to Martinez. People told me don't go there. It's a shithole. I said, people, we just had a nuclear pile meltdown. I'm gonna get as far away from Forberg as I can. Still in the same city, but...
Thank you for telling me.
I like the theory more than the story. Outward movement, not vortices.
Yeah, you gotta get in on those vortices, my man.
By the way, do you happen to have any guns? Like the ones carried by officers of the Citizens Militia?
Someone else came here earlier today asking the same question. I promptly sold her the gun you pawned a couple days back.
This is a pawn shop, and it did feel as if you've met before. Oh God. The lieutenant shifts from one foot to another, alert.
Wait, sold you my gun?
You were adamant about getting rid of it, officer. Said you were undeserving of a service weapon of the Revachol Citizens Militia. And I don't like keeping guns around the shop for long. Off the charts photon emissions. The unhealthy kind.
He's not telling you the whole story. It seems he's trying to spare you.
I feel like there's something you're not telling me.
You weren't quite yourself, officer.
What was I like?
You were very distraught. You said the gun was a threat to your life and that you can't trust yourself with it tonight. And that you need the money. When I said that I don't normally buy firearms, you put the gun barrel in your mouth and sort of sucked on it. Then I agreed to take it.
Very normal behavior. You must have been in great shape.
Wait, how much did I sell my gun for?
15 real.
The lieutenant looks from you to Roy, and then back to you. It's clear that he hopes this tableau might still turn out to be a bad dream. It's not, though. This has got to be the most. Wow. There's pity there too, in case you didn't notice. The light swirls in his face and glasses. He doesn't know what to say either.
Was the buyer a cat? Sorry, that noise you can hear is my cat absolutely destroying the arm of my sofa. And I am unfortunately trapped here until the stream ends. I'm just going to finish this up. Was the buyer a policeman too?
She didn't seem like a policeman, although she kept referring to herself as a pig, which was odd. I found her interest in the gun a bit obsessive, but I was just happy to get rid of it, and of her. Truth be told, she was terrifying.
Right, so let me get this right. You sold your sidearm, issued by the Citizens Militia, and now a civilian is running around the streets of Martinez with it?
Miraculously, his face does not reveal what's happening inside.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry I sold my gun.
Yeah, it's not good. I do hope we manage to clean this mess up somehow, while also keeping our focus on the murder investigation.
This mess? He means your mess.
Any idea where I can find the buyer?
My apologies, officer, but I have no idea where she was coming from or where she went.
A needle in a haystack. There is nothing you can do about it now. You'll just have to hope you luck upon her somehow.
At least now I know how I lost my sidearm. Let's talk about something else.
Of course.
I have other business to take care of now. Right, and on that bombshell, I think I'm going to call that a stream. I'm just going to read out any final Ko-fis we might have. Oh goodness, we're a little bit over. I do apologise there, Ath. Another from Red Dead Zombie. As a Christian, how dare you slander GMH that way? I'm kidding, that was hilarious. I'm crying. I'm on episode 5 of that colossal wreck. It's so good. Prompted first question. Lots of TMA season 5 gives tormented mind tormenting yet GMH gives tormented mind tormenting yet GMH vibes. Love it. Can't wait for protocol restart. Yeah. I'm glad you're enjoying that colossal wreck. It was a load of fun to write. Mr. Mungles, accidentally made the message private last time. Whoops. I just wanted to say it's been great getting to watch you play through Disco Elysium, as my boyfriend is obsessed with it. I've been meaning to get into it myself. Hope it's been a good Friday. Yeah, it's been an alright Friday. Ups and downs. Super Andiness. I don't have any announcements. I just like y'all's work. Oh, thank you. And Ryu here subscribed at Tier 1. They've been subscribed for 45 months. Adara subscribed at Tier 1. They've been subscribed for 9 months. Cam Captain. Hi Johnny, I'm sad to see your streams end, but glad the VODs will still be on YouTube. As a VA, you're obviously good at changing your vocal quality and accent. How do you practice that, or have you always just been able to do it? What voices/accents are hardest or easiest to do? So the practice I do is just like doing it a lot. I have always done that slightly annoying thing of just occasionally putting on strange voices and weird accents when I talk. I've also always been kind of a natural mimic and have enjoyed like playing with that and like practicing sort of voices and accents. One thing I will say though is like doing Slay the Princess very specifically really, I think, helps level me up as a voice actor in a lot of ways, because it like doing that many different voices that had to be distinct and had to be like lock-inable, it really pushes you to like, you're always a bit too hesitant to really go for it with voices, I think, until you have a project like that where you have to go harder in certain directions. In terms of accents and voices that are easy to do, like my natural voice, sort of wavers quite a lot, and it's sort of like at one end it's very posh, at one end it's something that's a little bit more clipped, it's, you know, a little bit plummy, it's very RP, and of course pitching it down becomes archivist voice, that sort of thing. So accent wise, at the one end of the spectrum I've got quite RP, and on the other end of the spectrum I've got a little bit more sort of London, a little bit more sort of estuary or Cockney, and that's obviously something I can really dial up. I can really dial into it if I need to. So that sort of you'll generally notice if I'm doing a voice performance that needs to have a lot of variety of tone and emotion, I will probably pitch the actual accent somewhere on that spectrum, because those are accents I am confident enough in and can slip into naturally enough that I can like, you know, go all over the emotional range. If I were to try something a bit more like an American accent, then I've naturally slipped into something a little bit more southern. I couldn't particularly identify where this one has come from. It's a little bit strange, but this one, I can talk in it, and I'm comparatively confident in it. It's not perfect. Anyone from the area that I'm imitating would spot it immediately, but anyone else in Britain or Europe probably would be like, oh no, that sounds like what I assume American accent of this rough sort would sound like. The thing is, because I'm not quite so locked into it, I would really struggle to do an emotional scene in it. If I had to do something really, really touching, I would have a lot less confidence about maintaining that. And that's, I think, why for a lot of like big professional jobs where people are doing accents that are not their native accents, they will get vocal coaches to, like, you know, help them nail it down, and probably to help nail down very specific line reads so they don't have to worry about their accent slipping when they're trying to put their the emotions through. Anyway, sorry, that was a too rambling an answer for when we're already 10 minutes over time, but, you know, it's my job. I'm interested in talking about it. Tempest Montgomery, happy Friday, Johnny and all. Can't make it to the streams, so I'm currently wandering the woods with a fishing pole, but stopping by with some cool news. I was invited to chat with a local poetry zine about my work. Thank you for your encouragement and looking forward to the VOD. Well, congratulations. That's really cool. I hope you had a great time with your fishing pole in the woods. And congrats on the poetry zine. That's really cool. Stomp, been loving the Disco Elysium streams. Also, do you have a favourite bird? Lately, I've become obsessed with birds. I mean, I love anything in a corvid, because they are people, they are interesting, they are just really cool, and, you know, they give each other funerals, they remember human faces, and sometimes pass their vendettas down to their children against specific humans. Also, big fan of urban pigeons, because they are shits who give no fucks, and like absolutely walking around every urban pigeon in my head is like, oi 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 oi, you eating that crisp? And that I very much enjoy that. Same with seagulls, although seagulls are like dialed up to the nth because those are some bullshit fuckers. Also, I grew up in Bournemouth, so which is on the coast, so a lot of seagulls there. So there's a certain homeliness to that. Also, got a soft spot for a vulture, you know, just like a classic trash bird, or rather, a classic trash bird that's actually broadly mischaracterized by pop culture, and is actually pretty damn cool, but at the same time, trash bird. So yeah, I would say that those are my big bird vibes. Nothing like, again, kind of basic. I don't have like a deep cut bird that I secretly really love, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's kind of an obscure bird. You probably haven't heard of it, but I don't know. The basics work. Right. I'm probably going to call it there for Disco Elysium. Thank you very much for joining me. I thought we might hit the end of the day this stream, but not quite. So next stream is going to be the first night, and we're probably going to have a little nap. I hope we don't have bad dreams. Right. So yes, sorry, I've got to go on here to actually end the stream. Thank you all very much for joining me. Sunday, we should, myself and Sasha should be doing the second half of playing through the first adventure of Pitcrawler's Progress on stream with MacGuffin, which is... oh, that's a good point. I should have mentioned that. So, Pitcrawler's Progress, like Pitcrawler, our two-player fantasy RPG, is the digital version, the PDF version, is now available from the MacGuffin and Company website to web store. If you go to the MacGuffin and Company site, you should be able to find it. It's really cool. It only takes 2 players. I think it's great, and we're playing part of it. We're playing the second half. We should be playing it on Sunday. I will say, we are on Saturday and Sunday going to be at the Dungeons and Flagons all weekend in Manchester. Me and Sasha each running a little RPG. So there is a non-zero chance if we get back from the Sunday at Dungeons and Flagons and we're like absolutely dead, we might be like, might have to call it. I would say that's a slim chance. Like, generally these sorts of board game weekenders are fun but not exhausting, but I'm just going to like just to say not guaranteed. Monday, however, Sasha will be continuing Jane Austen Book Club with another chunk of Mansfield Park. So thank you all very much for joining me for this most disco of Elysiums. And as we say at the end of every stream, to love a boiadeiro is to float lifeless downstream. Bye!